Hey guys, today's video is like a debate between a TikToker called Happy and me, Bullet. Said the whole Momoshiki draining chakra from beyond his dimension and creating parallel universes or parallel dimensions never happened. And he said it was from a third Boruto novel. He also said that Kaguya never actually created her actual dimensions. He said that the expanding truth-seeking orb doesn't scale to her normal stats. And that Kagi's star in the background of her dimension doesn't actually relate the size of her actual dimension. He also said Hagoromo died by making the moon or something like that. Anyways, I'm going to be debunking all of this crap. Regardless, the guy's cool, so I'll link down his TikTok.
Did you say it was from Boruto Naruto, the movie novel?
It's from the Boruto movie novelization. Do you want like a scan for it or something? Sorry, what novel are you saying it is? Let me search it up.
Okay.
Do you have
yeah. The one that I heard that, because this isn't even the full novel. Because I have the full text of what somebody appears to have translated for
the
novel Boruto Naruto, the movie.
You have that, and you're claiming that the Momoshiki statement about him creating dimensions doesn't exist. So you're wait. Let me.
Is what I don't understand.
Okay. Because so no, this is what I want to establish, right? The whole parallel universe or parallel dimension thing, right? Mm-hmm. You do know what novel that comes from.
So, from what I understood, it was from the third Boruto novel, but
it's not.
According to this one as well, it's Boruto Naruto, the movie, right?
I have the parallel statements in kanji, and it's from the Boruto movie novelization. The third novel is to do with like that arc where Boruto fights those ninja swordsmen or something, and at the end there's like a scene with Momoshiki like in some random like dimension. It might be, you know, the normal universe or something, and there's like these red clouds and like the sun's kind of illuminating and stuff. But the movie novelization is like basically the whole Momoshiki Kinshiki fight, but like novelized.
Yeah, I'm reading through it now. I'm trying to. Oh, here we go. Did you have the Japanese as well?
I have some of the pages. Yeah, you know the stuff to do with the parallel like dimensions or some shit.
Yeah.
Do you want that? Let me see if I can find it.
I'm just gonna quickly get it.
Where they kind of talk about how Momoshiki was draining like his, you know, chakra from beyond his dimension, all that stuff, which you said was fake for some reason. And it is a canon novel. It's on the corporate canon timeline.
That red underline isn't talking about creation.
No, it's not. I think that's... Ignore that. I'm just like showing you some of the kanji for it.
Yeah,
that's for like something else.
For that statement, that's all.
I think this is a statement about the subspace, hyperspace thing. But yeah, I'm not claiming that. That's just like some of the kanji from it.
So I'll just read it. Because it saves me having to quickly look for it. Because I thought it was from a different book. So...
Didn't Momoshiki directly state that he made? Yeah.
I don't think this is
well,
the right
not in anime, I think. He did it in this novel.
I don't think this is the right scan.
For what? No, I'm not saying it. I'm just saying that it's from the Boruto movie novelization, and this is like to do with these dimensions, these parallel dimensions, I think.
No, this one doesn't talk about parallel dimensions. Is what I'm saying. The only thing it talks about is Momoshiki, and he...
I'm pretty sure it does. I can literally bring up
about
the stuff.
Giving chakra. I can't.
Do you want me to bring up the like translation for it, like, and show you that the kanji matches it?
Yeah, if you have one, but
yeah.
From what I see, there's no like this particular panel doesn't talk about dimensions. I want to quickly read through.
Okay, let me just quickly find it. So this is one of the hyperspace like statements.
Huh? Oh, so this isn't about the parallel dimension.
Apparently it is, according to the translation. Yeah. There's like several translations that say similar things.
Interesting.
And also I wanted to address the kanji stuff for like the Kaguya stuff and her creating her dimensions.
Okay, we can maybe get into that.
I just want to quickly go for this.
Read,
okay.
Because this section here doesn't specifically talk about the creation of the subspace.
No, I'm not claiming it's created. I'm just trying to bring up that it's a parallel and all of that stuff. And I was trying to prove that the actual novel exists because you were stating that it doesn't exist or some shit like that.
No. Did you see the panel that I was referring to didn't exist?
No, yeah, you were talking about like him creating a dimension or some shit like that. But you were claiming that that never happens, and then you tried to prove it by showing the third Boruto novel, I think.
Yeah,
right?
because I was told that that panel came from the third
It's not from
novel.
there though. It's from the Boruto movie
This one?
novelization.
All right. Well, I'll go download it and double check that as well.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
I thought it was from
I
the
can
Book
link
Club
you
3 novel.
I can link you the translation to the whole thing, but that's just a translation.
Pretty much on that topic, there's nothing I can say about that. So, yeah, if we're going to debate that, I may as well just concede that point.
Okay.
Because I haven't read it.
What about the Kaguya stuff? You said that she didn't create her dimensions. Why is that?
Okay, so for the dimensions that she places, I think you sent me this before when we first picked up, was the creating dimensions as she pleases, divine power of the founder that awakened her eyes. But from the
I don't see
actual
a problem
Japanese, okay, it doesn't state creating.
It states weaving
the
or
wording,
something, but you can
it states like threading.
Yeah. No, but we can assume if you use like synonyms and stuff, right? They're directly talking about her like weaving, creating her dimensions. So it makes sense in the context,
assembling.
Right? No, but it stayed. Okay,
assemble.
look. It stayed. She does it as she pleases or with ease, right? So like we're basically assuming that she can create or like weave these dimensions without a problem or much chakra usage.
As she pleases. The word they use was like freely.
Yeah, freely. No, well, if I looking at the kanji, right, it says like with ease, freely, so that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I know the kanji.
I've got like multiple translations too.
Yeah, but like that word is very like jiuni is used very often in Japanese, and it's like you can freely do whatever you want type thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, she could freely.
That still proves the point anyway.
Assemble.
That's freely happening.
Sure, but at the same time, it kind of implies that she is using things that are already in existence with the word assemble or
assembling. It's like what she's essentially doing is like threading them out of like almost like nothingness. Or even if I think we talked about this, like you do realize that even if you're recycling energy, it will still count as like an AP feat because you can't technically destroy and create energy anyway.
To have sufficient amount of energy on your person to use that recycling ability, then that's different.
No, but she's producing the same amount of KE. So like imagine she's taking that like same kinetic energy in. She's like pushing it out. So you can even use Newton's like third law to say that like every like action has like an equal and opposite like reaction.
Yeah.
So like it would like relate regardless, and also like because like now we're like on the actual like topic, right? So her actual ability, right, is actually named after the god who one of the gods who created like the universe or something. That's the law behind it, contextually like backed up within that.
This panel in general is talking about teleportation, right? So it's talking about the ability to create.
It's also talking about the ability to kind of like thread and make and create these dimensions freely. Because the actual ability is also named after the god who does it.
Because it's literally talking about the assembly of the dimensions, or what it actually says is space, yeah? Like the wording that they chose.
Yeah, we talked about this before. It's the same terminology they use with Kakashi, and they still refer to his space as a dimension.
I think they did for.
Yeah, I remember. Remember when I brought the scan, and they actually compare. They literally directly compare the terminology and stuff, like Kaguya's dimension and Kakashi's dimension.
So, if we're looking at dimension, I don't necessarily disagree that she creates some sort of like world or dimension. But what I disagree with what many people claim is the size of them.
Yeah, okay, now that's a completely different topic. So I just wanted to quickly establish that, like, you do agree that she's creating dimensions, right? Well, we'll talk about the size in a minute.
It depends on how you define dimension, right? But in terms of what I think they meant by dimension in the novels or the manga and stuff, it's more world.
No, it seems more to be the actual space, because if you talk about like dimension, right?
Well, yeah, space.
Space time, because she literally says right at the end she's gonna like recreate her time space, right, and it's gonna consume whatever, like her world. Yeah. So I think that's what they mean by a dimension, right? And then we at least see a star within it, and also like we know that if you're gonna rewrite like something's time space, you're not just gonna do it for the planet and not the rest of the space. Do you understand where I'm going with this?
Debatable, because when we looked at the ninja world and the effect that the orb was about to have on the ninja world, it was only going to affect the world, and then they already had
we talked about this, remember,
in that solar system. I sort of remember what we talked about, but I'm just reestablishing what I said just in case, because I don't really remember what I shared, because I've shared it with a lot of people. But the solar systems are already in existence in many of her dimensions, and so the only feats that we've actually seen of her physically attempting to recreate or create anything in the actual manga was her using the orb to change the ninja world.
I know, but this statement states that she does it freely using her eye, her awakened eye, right? And also we know that there's like statements from the Boruto Ninja Directionary stating that she can like summon like actual entire dimensions or something.
Well, it says that they can move things from one place to another.
No, it's more so like summoning it rather than moving places.
Well, the places she can move to are the dimensions of, and then it also talks about that in the same panel, in the Amino Minaka panel.
Oh yeah, so you're talking about the actual text, right?
Yeah. So it says in an instant she can move the world she's in together with other people to a different dimension. So it's talking about the fact that she can create or she can reassemble a world and then chuck it somewhere else.
But that relates to like her AP, because like essentially you could like fucking create a star, right, on top of somebody or something. But then that's not even the issue, right? It seems to be like a separate kind of like ability or something, because like she's like weaving and creating.
This is why the question comes: is how big is those dimensions?
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So we've established that she creates them in some shape or form, right? Now you want to know how big they are, right?
Created the moon, right? And he had to use all of his chakra to do so, and then he died.
Oh, so you're bringing up some sort of like anti-scaling. Are you saying that they can't be like star level or something because they're struggling to create moons, etc., right?
Yeah, kind of. But then Kaguya was stated to be stronger than Hagoromo. And so this would mean that she, with her base chakra, that's not like after any, what's it called? Like absorption or something like that, should be able to create like a moon level moon like Hagoromo did.
You see what the problem is? When like, let's take Naruto and Sasuke, right? When they seal her away and make the moon, right afterwards it's stated it's like the moon, right? And then states that it's only getting bigger. So like we don't even fucking know how gigantic it actually becomes by the end of it. And also, if you look, I know, even if you like take all of this shit, right, you do realize there's like a difference between like AP and DC. So like something doesn't inherently need to be of like certain size to be like a higher AP.
Depending on the size of the creation does influence the tiering. We could find out the exact size of the moon if you decided to figure out how big the Ten Tails is, because we know that Hagoromo made the moon out of the Ten Tails dead corpse. So that wouldn't be very big, and it possibly wouldn't be anywhere near the size of
was it stated that Hagoromo used all of his power to do it, or like he was struggling to do it?
I can send the panel if you want.
Okay, go ahead. Because we know that when Naruto does it, like his becomes the size of a moon, and then only continues to get bigger and bigger and bigger. So we don't even know what size it ends up becoming, and we don't actually know how big like Kaguya's actual planet is. I mean, some of these like planets have like multiple moons circling them.
The moon that Hagoromo managed to create was just from the Ten Tails, and it was never stated to grow or anything like that.
Okay, I just want to see the statement because it seems more of a casual thing.
The moon one that you're talking about, with Naruto and Sasuke, I've never heard that one, and it could be a not related moon.
Do you not remember the scene?
Yeah, that's the other one. I'm talking about the Hagoromo.
Yeah, I know what one you're talking about, but I'm just bringing that up. As in, like, it doesn't like inherently like affect this kind of scaling. You wouldn't use it to like anti-scale Naruto.
Arguably, the Sasuke and Naruto one would be bigger, maybe because they had Hagoromo's chakra plus their own. So it's not like Hagoromo only had his and died.
Okay, wait. Let me just read it for 90.
I think it's the bottom right panels that talk about that.
Okay. It said he used the last of his strength to do that. So I mean, it kind of implies he'd been like, he was fighting Kaguya or something, and then like he's already worn out.
He was trying to fight the Ten Tails.
Yeah.
And then
so the feat wouldn't. It's not like
it's
not even a full power feat by him. If anything, it's stating that he's weakened when he was doing this.
Yeah.
And also, I don't think it's correct because like it says in his final moments, when we know even like after he's like made the moon and sealed like Kaguya away, right? He does like multiple things like afterwards. Like he ages and he splits a Biju. He does the whole like thing in like Rasuden and stuff. So I don't even know if this is like a valid interpretation because Obito seems to be basing this off like lore, if anything. And also like it doesn't really contradict anything. It's like a weakened Hagoromo doing it.
Yeah, but again, this is just the main. Well,
No, because you're
You've
assuming a
got
contradiction, right? Like you brought up like as some sort of like anti-feat or something.
well, it's not an anti-feat. This is definitely a feat that shows that.
Okay, so
Hagoromo's
like
at
he
least
could
moon
casually
level,
just be
is what
moon
I'm
level.
saying.
I don't think it shows that they're not like star level. You do understand why, like,
But
they
it's
scaled
good
the
enough evidence to
sorry.
show that he is at least moon level. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, sure. Like
So,
maybe
so
he's at least moon
yeah.
level or whatever, right? But I'm just saying that like he can be scaled higher through the whole creation thing for Kaguya.
For
You do understand
you
how
mean
like the
Kaguya's
creation
creation?
potence and the AP actually scale, right? I think we
What are
briefly
we
went over that.
scaling specifically though? Like Kaguya or Hagoromo?
No, well, like I was scaling like the whole creation thing to Kaguya's like AP and even her durability because she has to physically be able to like tank the energy she is like exerting, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then like we see Naruto and etc. like Hama, and we know that Hagoromo swapped hands with her, etc. And we know that like if this is like a casual thing for her to like weave like dimensions or whatever, right? We know that there's abilities that like directly surpass it, stated to be like beyond it. She doesn't do it as she pleases or with ease or freely. She has to like load up her like chakra or some shit, and like it just shows that it's inherently like higher. But like essentially, what we're doing is we're getting her durability to that level, and if she can be damaged, then the people who are damaging or who are like fighting her scale to her like AP or creation points.
Yeah, I get that, but in order to like to see the exact amount of how much Kaguya's AP can be scaled to, you have to like go over all the different events that I was talking about, which was the first one was
look, it doesn't. The thing is, right? We're kind of like saying, well, it can't be the case. If it's not the case, you kind of have to prove a contradiction in the first place. That's how you debate this, rather.
So yeah, the main.
And I'm not seeing a contradiction. Like you brought up the moon level thing, but that wasn't a contradiction because a massively weakened Hagoromo did it, and also it's like law.
The main contradictions that I'm talking about is that the only feats that we've ever seen of Hagoromo or the Osutsuki creating was this one,
which was a really casual thing.
Was proven to be a moon level thing. I wouldn't say it's casual. He died.
No, but like he did it with the last of his power, right? Like he'd fought like Kaguya, like for potentially months or whatever, or the 10 tails, right? And it literally states he does it with the last of his power. So it's entailing that he was weakened, right? And that's all I need, right, to kind of prove that like he's stronger. And there's no contradiction.
He also basically died. Kaguya attempted this same thing, and she pretty much died as well.
I know, but he didn't die though. Like he did things after this. Like we learn in Rasuda.
No,
that, like
he did die. I have a panel that proves that he's dead.
Okay, can you prove that he died right after this?
The thing that he's doing now though is walking in between this place that's like in between life and death. He actually is dead.
Can you prove that he died after making the moon?
Yeah, hold on.
Because I'm pretty sure, like, look, he did this after his fight with Kaguya, but then he did like several other things like split the Nichiwa up.
This exact panel.
I'm pretty sure he became like the Chinchuriki as well, and then split it up and like stuff, and have the whole like Ashura Indra stuff.
Speaking to a dead man, looking for that.
Unless you're like kind of saying that Indra and Ashura aren't canon, even though they are. I'm not saying he's not dead. He does die at some point, but I don't think he inherently dies from like making the moon, because we know he does multiple things after making the moon.
Yeah, but
and he has a whole like Ashura Indra kind of arc.
Walking around now, like he has this. Where's the panel that talks about?
He literally died. Doesn't he die on his deathbed or something?
I thought he died. Hang on, I'm pretty sure this panel said that he died trying to make the moon.
I don't think he did, because like look, logically think about it, right? So he sealed Kaguya after like right after being her, and he made the moon. But then we know he did like he actually grew older. He had children. He had Ashura Indra. He kind of had to share chakra with everybody. We know he kind of like became the Chinchuriki of the 10 tails. Then he got like an illness, etc. Yeah, he did multiple things. We know then he had to split it up and like do the whole polar particle thing. So there's no evidence that he died like right after making the moon. If anything, it's kind of contradicted.
No, he was just sealing the 10 tails. He wasn't sealing Kaguya.
No, but you're claiming that he died after this, right? Right after making the moon. Where's the evidence for that?
It says it's contradicted. In his final moment, it's right there.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying that's massively contradicted.
And it said that.
And also, this is based. Look, what you're using is based off law. Obito doesn't necessarily know what happened.
The seal would come undone, and the 10 tails would be released.
Yeah, I know, but you're basing it off law, right? That doesn't even make sense. So this is what Obito thinks happened, right?
What do you mean? That's a direct statement.
Wait, you're using the Obito thing, right? Him explaining what happened. Yeah. No, but that's not a direct statement, though. It's Obito kind of explaining the law. And we know it's contradicted by what actually happens. Unless you're saying Ashura and Indra aren't canon, even though they are. They're literally in the data book. And they actually refer to in the actual manga as well, so. And also, we know he literally shared his chakra afterwards anyways, and he had to become a 10-tailed Shinchuriki.
But we don't know if he's actually, like, dead after this, or, like...
Well, no, we know for a fact he didn't die, because it stated he died later on.
Well, he did die, but then, as it says, he's not even... He is dead, but the thing that he's in now is, like, the state between...
No, I agree. Yeah, sure. Like later on, afterwards, right?
So that's why he
does eventually die.
Chakra.
Yeah, he does eventually die, and like then he like transmigrates or whatever throughout time or some shit, right? But I'm saying he doesn't actually die from creating the moon. It's only stayed from like Obito, like during his weird ambiguous law or something, and it doesn't even make sense because it's contradicted.
Like feats that contradict that statement, though.
What do you mean what the feats are? I literally explained, like, you know, he does multiple things, which are canon, after all of his stuff.
But was that in the state of what he is in now, though? Or was that...
No, because like, he's literally dying. We know, like, even take afterwards, right? We know in Rasuden, right? He states that, right, he has an illness, which is killing him, meaning he's not even dead. And we know this factually happens afterwards.
In Naruto Resident? Sasuke
No, do you know, in Rasuden, they kind of talk about, like, his law. After becoming a 10-tailed Shinchuriki, he, like, ends up getting, like, a disease or something. So we know it happens afterwards, right? And now he states, you know, he's dying from his disease, and he has to cure himself. If he's dead already, then there's literally no point.
I thought that was Naruto.
Hagoromo also had it. Do you understand? Like, he also had the same kind of disease and stuff. So then, like, he had to, like, kind of, like, get the polar particles himself. That's what the law is kind of based off. But Naruto does end up also getting the disease. And then they're trying to, like, backtrack and find out how Hagoromo cured himself.
They're trying to find the particle for Naruto.
Yeah, I know, but they also... No, but the thing is, right, Hagoromo is the one who hid all these polar particles and stuff. Because he at one point had the illness himself, right? From being the 10-tailed Shinchuriki or something, right?
Half in the middle.
Yeah, half on Earth and half in the sky.
And half on the Earth, yeah.
So do you understand why he would still be alive?
But that's the thing, though, is like...
There's literally multiple things proving he was alive. He's saying he didn't. I'm just saying he didn't die.
When he created the moon till that point, he was still alive.
No, yeah, basically I'm saying he didn't die from the whole moon, making the moon thing. That's only stated from Obito's ambiguous law. That completely contradicts everything else. So it doesn't even make sense, and it shouldn't even be taken like face value. It's not like Obito was even there. So consistently, it's wrong. His interpretation.
That's true. That could definitely be an interpretation of it, though. But I don't see how that changes.
No, like, I agree. Maybe it's an interpretation, but it's wrong.
He created something. That's all I was trying to establish, was that he...
No, but yeah, you were stating that, like, oh, he used all of his power to do it or something. Because actually, if anything, the law actually... So from what he's saying, that he uses the last of his power, right? So this is right after fighting Kaguya and the 10 Tails, right? He uses the last of his powers to, like, kind of, like, seal away, like, Kaguya and make the moon or something. So he was weakened already, and plus he didn't even die from this. If you agree that he made the moon, because you're using that as a feat.
No, it's not a contradiction. I'm just saying that if we were to find a feat that would scale Kaguya, that would be a better one, because it would instantly chuck Kaguya somewhere above Hagoromo.
No, I don't agree with anti-scaling and stuff. I think you need a contradiction. If a feat comes up, right, then you kind of need a contradiction to prove why that's not the case in the first place. That's how you like kind of like logically argue against it. But it doesn't seem to be like a contradiction. If anything, it kind of goes along with the Momoshiki stuff and him creating his dimension, with that it having, like, you know, multiple stars and stuff, and that seems to be the direction like Naruto's going in.
Let's say that we go with the English translation that I found for that Momoshiki feat. It only talks about the parallel dimension, but we know that in fan fiction, parallel dimension doesn't directly translate to mean universe.
No, I'm not claiming it means universe. We know it at least has like several stars and stuff. So it's that multi-soul system level.
Wait, what? It doesn't say that, does it?
Well, technically, at the end of a novel, it also mentions that like there's like light from like other stuff, like this sunlight and stuff, and also we know like in the actual like anime, there's like multiple stars and stuff in the sky for like Momoshiki's dimension.
No, that doesn't necessarily mean anything. Just because you can see stars in the sky doesn't mean that they made them.
No, but he created the whole dimension. Remember, we kind of like established this already. And you said you were going to buy the translation or something.
That's why I said it kind of matters. But even without the translation, I can just go off this fan translation one that I've got. We still have to determine the size of the dimension.
No, but that's what I did. There's like stars within it, and we know the dimension kind of like encompasses everything he's created, right? And we know it's like he has like a similar ability to like Kaguya because he's using the Rinnegan.
It's not stated that that star was a part of his dimension, because as we know that prior to attach to the ninja world, there were already stars and suns in the solar system to begin with.
Can you define what a dimension is? You're claiming it means world or something, right? But when we're talking about dimensions, right, it actually encompasses like all of like everything they've created, and that's what the space is. Otherwise, like if that wasn't the case, then like it would like actually contradict like a few things. And like I said, if she was only affecting the time space of a planet, that wouldn't fucking make sense. Like how could you only affect the time space of a planet but not the rest of a dimension or like space surrounding it?
No, it still makes sense because you can make pocket dimensions.
No, but like the thing is, you can visually you can visually see the stars.
Reality. If you're looking at it from that perspective, if you're saying that all dimensions or like fourth dimension is, why is there somebody's video? Anyways, the fourth dimensional space is automatically universal in size.
I'm not claiming it's universal in size.
Well, a solar system or whatever it may be, because of the suns and stars in it.
Okay.
Then, as again, like you'd have to prove that it is part of her dimension or his dimension.
Well, it is a part of his dimension.
That those are part of them.
We can quite literally see it, and it's not like it's never stayed a pocket dimension. If you're making a positive claim, right, or you're claiming something,
that would the ninja world.
That would be your burden of proof.
The stars and suns are hers because she claimed that was her world.
No, but at the same time, she also claims that, like, this is
your
her dimension,
that
right?
She created those dimensions, including the suns and the stars.
No, but they're not like they never stay separate dimensions. It's like one thing. She stated she's gonna like destroy the whole time space of it, and the time space encompasses the whole thing.
No,
so it logically just makes more sense, right, for her dimension. If you even search up the definition of a dimension, right,
is an axis of movement such as height, length, and width. For example, zero-dimensional, a line, one-dimensional. Is a line, sorry. Zero is a point. A line is one, a plane is two, and three-dimensional, etc. Right? But it also says that it's not acceptable to use the term for anything other than spatial and temporal. This includes inappropriately using it for universes, pocket universes, realms, worlds, or reality.
Wait, where does it state that? What definition are you
using? This is from the Versus Battle fandom.
I don't care about their definition.
Well, that's sort of what I was going off, because that's what a lot of people scale from.
Can you send that definition to the chat? But I don't think that's valid anyways. I wouldn't like just inherently take their definition or like appeal to them like there's some sort of authority.
Well,
to be fair, I do agree with most of the terminology.
That'll probably, if you don't use that method to scale.
Wait, okay. So yeah, then it becomes like a semantics issue, right?
They also have one on parallel dimension as well.
But that seems to be like temporal dimensions and like mathematical dimensions. I'm more so talking about like if you say something is a dimension, something's like a space. Like, if I say dimension, right, it's like a plane or a space. Because you're using like mathematical
dimensions work even in like string theory or relativity. Like
no, but you're talking about mathematical dimensions. That wouldn't get us anywhere.
It is mathematical. What are you talking about?
No, but that's what I'm saying. So, like, when Kaguya says, like, I created a dimension or whatever, what do you actually think she means by that? Do you think she's talking about mathematical dimensions?
No, she's talking about creating, like, either a three-dimensional space or four-dimensional space, like, whatever.
It's some sort of space.
It doesn't matter
now,
if we're talking about...
If you visually
the mathematics is just how you calculate or quantify what kind of a space it is. The formula for the four dimensions that we find in our universe is 3D, so length, width, height, plus time, right? So that's four dimensions.
Now, Kaguya creating her dimensions, right? Okay. So, now we're talking about, okay, she's either created a fourth dimensional or like third dimensional space or it could be even higher, right? Because we're talking about like a space, right? Like, you're taking up width and length, right? So that's the space. Now we can visually see stars within it, and there's no like stated like division between like her planet and like other spaces or some shit. So like it will just encompass everything we see at the moment. I'm not like using like this weird entailment like you're claiming and saying that would mean it could mean anything I wanted it to, because I'm not claiming it means like every single dimension like fucking ever, because we don't like visually see it. If that makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, but based on the anime manga Storm 4, the game.
Yeah.
and any of the other stuff that we can see. It's basically a world inside her dimension. She has no effect.
Well,
on the
actually, if
stars
you're
and
using
sun.
Ninja
She
Storm,
can't control
if
or
you're using
manipulate them.
if you're using Ninja Storm, we see like fucking nebulae and stuff. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
don't we?
but they're not part of her dimensions, as the wiki states that it's not.
What do you
in
mean?
the
How does the
Versus
wiki
fandom
state it's
forums.
not? What? Wait, what wiki? The Versus Battle wiki?
Yeah. in
No,
the
I'm pretty
forums.
sure they do. Like they consider like her whole dimension, like including the star
Well,
and stuff. Right?
I'll show you what they said, and they closed the forum on this.
No, but that must be an
they
old
said-
forum because they've changed her like they've changed
Yeah, they
the
changed
expanding
it
proof
to-
seeking orb to like star level. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and that's the.
And they
what I've
that
claimed
means
this whole
that
time.
means they consider her time space and her actual dimension like at least large star level.
This argument that the dude poses is pretty much my argument summed up.
Okay, you're using the dimension.
There is no proof of her dimensions or universe inside.
Okay, but I'm
Even
saying
if they
there's
had
at
a
least
universe
proof that
inside, Naruto would have died from PTSD if it finished.
but there is actual proof that is at least large star level because we actually see a star within her dimension, which is her space,
Sure.
right? And her space connects to like everything you visually see. It would be weird for it to be like cut off from other spaces and stuff. That wouldn't make any sense.
The thing with her using the orb, and that's the only ability that's proven to have some sort of universal effect, at least, if it really could connect to dimensions and all this kind of stuff. The problem with it is that she has to use the infinite Tsukuyomi, has a moon, and in order to be able to drain enough shinobi or chakra,
Yeah.
or she has to grab a chakra fruit in order to be able to use
Okay,
those
now
kind of abilities.
here's my issue, right? So like pretty much I already proved that her creation her creation potency scales to like AP anyways. And now the expanding truth seeking orb is a different ability completely. Now it probably takes up like more chakra, etc. And the reasoning for that is because it actually destroys a very time space, right? And also we know that it could actually like affect like other like fucking dimensions, etc. Right? Now we're talking about the expanding truth seeking orb, right? It's still technically her power. She's regaining the chakra she like had originally. Take Moro, is it Moro?
That's debatable.
Okay, take Moro from like Dragon Ball, right? We know he absorbs like energy from like other planets, etc. But he essentially makes all of that energy his energy.
But it's
Imagine-
a bit different because the mangas in Boruto claim
look.
she's a parasite and that they live for one purpose. to
Okay,
sell
look, that's
planets'
fine,
life
dude.
energy. And
Dude.
without that life energy, they can't continue.
So look, if I go into a versus debate, right, I will establish the Kaguya I'm using. It'll be the Kaguya from like, the one with all of her chakra, etc. If that makes sense. But that will still scale to her actual like stats. Do you understand what I mean? I'm not
Well,
like
they
claiming. I'm not
actually
using a
said-
base like Kaguya or something.
the same tiering system said no, because if you go to the tiering system, it says that you have to have infinite energy on your person. Creation has to come from nothing, and that it has to also affect an infinite universe.
No, but like no.
or an,
Okay, look,
an-
dude, I'm not claiming.
in order to be a
she made the
universal
universe.
thing.
Okay, I'm claiming it's at least large star level. But like, is her like chakra and she's regaining all of it?
That was
Plus,
my
look,
claim.
if you can actually reestablish, if you can withhold all of his chakra, right?
Mhm.
Then essentially what you're doing, right, is like you're actually not just controlling it or whatever, right? But like you're withstanding it because like we talked about like Newton's third law. If you're able to like project this energy, you should be able to actually tank it yourself. Side note, so quickly talking about her being able to actually create the dimensions in the first place. There's also stronger attacks she has that are like that are not as casual as this, right? And she take her
Like
like
what?
8 Gods palm attack or something, right? I think that's what it's called, the vacuum attack. She basically throws punches, right? And it's stated to be one of her most strongest attacks, right? So it's above that, right? And now if you're punching, right, and you're withstanding it and your hands aren't breaking, then it means you'd need durability to withstand that. So she scales regardless.
So how does that attack scale to more than star? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it would at least be large star level, like her actual AP.
The,
That way.
the
And then I'm
palm-
saying the expanding truth seeking orb just kind of like more validates it. If anything, how she actually loses a lot of chakra, and the expanding truth seeking orb is her refilling herself, which would actually make sense because we know
the
that.
Tsukuyomi is what refills her.
Yeah, she refills her chakra, right, by doing that.
No,
Like,
not by the orb. She loses chakra.
No, I'm
from
not
the
saying
orb.
by the orb. I'm saying, yeah, she gains all of his chakra. It doesn't matter where it's from, right? But she's essentially refilling herself.
Yeah.
So
but
wherever it is, right, it
without a
scales.
moon,
It
without
scales
the
to that
Tsukuyomi,
version of Kaguya.
Without Shinobi around, if she was chucked into a versus battle with just like space, right, against Goku or something, she wouldn't be able to use that, and she wouldn't be able to scale from the orb
because this is why, right?
It's
so
not her
if I was to if I was to scale her to Goku or whatever, right, the version of Kaguya I would use is this full power Kaguya who has all of this chakra, because that's the version people mostly use. Nobody's using a base Kaguya. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, but it's not a. It's like you're saying, like to have all that chakra in the first place, she has to have obtained it from all the other different requirements that I stated, because she can't actually physically, like, she doesn't permanently keep that. She has to have first done those requirements in order to use those abilities.
Well, she does technically. She does actually, have all of it. Like, she keeps it permanently, because we know even at the end. Look, even at the end of like, do you know when she eats a chakra fruit, right? She literally had that power for like years, right? And it's her chakra. She only loses it afterwards once, like, Hagoromo and like Hamura take some of it when they're born.
Well, when she fought
and then we know that like
they
take her chakra and spread it.
Anymore.
Sorry, what?
When she fought with Ishiki and then she landed on the ninja world, she had no power anymore.
Okay, that's like a base chakra. Sorry, that's like a base Kaguya or Kaguya before eating the
base Kaguya was like 10.
Take Moro. How would you scale Moro from like Dragon Ball? Because he essentially like absorbs ki from like other planets and stuff, and makes it his own power.
But that's different. Kaguya doesn't. Hers drains.
No, but she's obtaining all of his chakra from converting all of the nature energy on the planet into chakra.
Again, because
and
his abilities,
she permanently has it.
He can use it. He can use it without having to drain it. Like, as long as he has enough ki, he can use those abilities. But with Kaguya's one, it specifically says that it actually needs sacrifices. It needs to sacrifice not only the people,
because it didn't. She essentially had all
the chakra in the entire planet. If you read the ability, it says that it's a combination of all nature chakra.
No, because that's the that was a Kaguya issue. That's the Kaguya she was being compared to before. But I'm saying once she has all of her chakra, it's still hers permanently. It's not it's not like an ability where she has to do it each time. Because if Kaguya has all of her chakra already before the battle even before the fight even starts,
the damage that the orb inflicts though.
What?
She doesn't scale from the damage that the orb inflicts. Well, she first obtained power from the chakra fruit.
Look, the chakra fruit is like a power up. She ate it and she gained all of his chakra.
Actually came from the planet. So really, the source of her power.
Have you read Boruto? It's stated that that's what the clan do. They eat all of these chakra fruits to update their actual biology.
Their DNA.
Their DNA. It physically changes them. And that's why they get all of these powers.
That's why they all look different, because depending on the planet's energy source they devour.
Okay, so you understand that she gets a different form, and that's why she's stronger.
And you understand that they're an alien parasite. Do you know what the definition of a parasite is?
I do, but that literally gives her the power. Regardless of what she is, right? It permanently gives her the power, because she can actually retain it for years.
She literally and having the ability to use it are two separate things.
No, she has it, and she can fucking use the ability. I've proved it.
She can use it when she has enough chakra or energy. And that's why it says,
look,
as a
I literally proved if she has all of this. If she has all of his power, right? She retains it within her, and she can project it. Remember, we kind of proved that it scales to her.
Use it when she first jumped into the ninja world?
We proved because why she didn't. You should know why she didn't do it. She said that Earth was her sacred nursery or something, and that she didn't want to harm it.
No, it's because she fell in love with the freaking dude.
No, she wasn't just gonna casually destroy the planet for no reason at all, right? So back to what I was saying before. So if she can project it, right, we know it scales to her durability, and we know that she can be harmed. Therefore, other people have the AP that she has, or at least relative AP. So I'm not saying it's just as strong or stronger, but it's in the same tier of power. Do you understand the premise now?
I don't understand your premise. You're saying that it scales to the same tier of power, but
it's not necessarily the same thing, yeah.
Because what it's if we're talking about the damage that she can inflict, the orb isn't her own damage, because
no, but I'm saying it scales to her stats regardless.
Or the person with universal AP.
No, but look, she can project it, right? I mean, somebody can harm somebody who can project that amount of power.
And then he would scale off the ball in order to be universal. It's not Kaguya that's actually doing the damage. It's actually the ball plus all the chakra from all the shinobi and the planet that's doing all the universal damage.
You understand that? You do understand that her durability has to scale to it.
No, her durability scales off her, and based on the
Yeah,
abilities that she
because
can
she can
use within
contain
her
all of his
own
chakra
self.
and she can
Because
project it.
it's that's how the tiering system works. Though it says you have to be able to destroy or create based off your own energy within you. Like it can't be from external absorption or
No, but
from.
she turns something external into something that's internal.
Yeah, but it's a little bit more complicated than that. In that
Well, it's
you
not,
need a
because she
moon,
literally does it,
you
and
need the planet,
for
you need
years, she
people to
like
drain
has this
from.
power within
You
her,
need
this chakra.
you need all these factors. So like let's say like Goku comes in and slaps the moon. She literally can't do any of it.
Wait, sorry, say that again.
If Goku was to come fight her
Yeah.
and she wanted to use the orb to inflict some
Okay,
sort
look,
of universal
dude, I'm not saying
attack.
that she's like superior, like her normal stats are superior to it. I'm saying they're relative. So it means she could somewhat like fight that Goku with her normal stats.
Well, not with her.
Not with the expanding
her
truth seeking
own
orb,
person.
sure. But
The-
like I
the
said,
only thing that
the
would
expanding
actually
truth seeking
have-
orbit takes so long because it's not just like a potency based thing. It also
It is
destroys
slow.
a very time space, and we know that it even destroys like you on like a spiritual level, because like I know that like Minato couldn't even regenerate like from like being hit by like a truth seeking orb. So like it does multiple other things as well. And maybe that's why it fucking takes so long. But I'm just saying that she does somewhat scale to it, her normal stats. Because her durability can take it and people can harm her. Like literally right after like she's doing it and stuff, right? We see like her getting
No, her
blitzed by
durability
like
can't take it. If she was to jump into the orb, she'd get fucked too.
well, is it ever stated that she'll get fucked?
The only reason that she knew that she would be safe is that she's controlling.
Also, I'm pretty sure it's
well,
stated that expanding
even
cruising
then, she's
orbit
not
is like a
controlling.
hacks kind of thing. So she can actually take the energy, but she can't take the hacks of it. And plus, I don't think it's ever stated that she can't take it anyways.
What? She can't take the energy of the orb?
No, it's never stated that, you know, she would like fucking die from like being hit by the orb.
Yeah, well, that's because we've never seen it. But
Yeah, okay then. So
it is-
what are you basing it off?
No, what I'm saying is that if it was supposedly a universal attack or something just really powerful and it was instantaneous, then Naruto would be dead from the orb anyways.
So I told you, right? The orb actually has like multiple other properties and stuff. Destroying the time space, destroying you like on like a spiritual level, and multiple other things. And I'm pretty sure it's stated that like it actually, because it's like a Keke, not a Genkai,
Keke
the other
Genkai.
one. You know how if it's three things combined together, it's like all of the elements, anyways.
Yeah.
So we know that there's like
I've seen something like that.
if there's like I'm pretty sure it's stated that there's like an element to it that actually negs like your durability regardless.
So,
But the actual energy itself, she can actually take it because she's like projecting it, which is at least like large star level. And plus, we know that's the case anyways because she like as she pleases, right? She creates all these dimensions. So that's just like supporting evidence. So now we're getting that this preponderance of
okay,
evidence.
so let me get this straight for what you're trying to say.
Okay.
Is that based on the fact that Kaguya, let's say she does scale from the orb or something like that,
Okay, at least
and
somewhat.
let's say she's star level, right?
Okay.
And then Naruto was to punch Kaguya, or was able to keep up with her and do damage to her. That would mean his AP scales to her, right?
Yeah.
Something like that, right?
At least it will be somewhat relative in the
But
same.
here's
tier,
the other problem with that is that Naruto himself wasn't stronger than Kaguya at the time, and even if he was,
No, but he
if
was
he-
we know he's somewhat relative. Look, even if you take Sasuke, it's stated within like Sasuke Shinden or something that like Sasuke surpassed Kaguya, and also you have multiple other things about like Naruto like damaging her, having abilities that like actually like harm like Kaguya. Remember like the all of the Rash and Shurikens and stuff is like stated to be one of the most marvelous ninjutsu of all time, and it can actually just completely destroy her, and then she has to like regenerate from it, etc. And also Sasuke in the last having like a dojutsu that's stronger than hers. So it might not be as versatile, but it's definitely stronger. And considering that it's literally stated that you need like a certain dojutsu to actually create these star level dimensions, that should actually tell us that Sasuke scales to this. Not that he can do it, but that it's at least as strong as it. So they do scale to her like durability, damaging her durability,
yeah, but
which
that
we
would be
established with
scaling
star
off
level.
her base durability, not the orbs.
No, but then we already established that her durability scales to that, remember? I don't really want to do this again. It's becoming like ad nauseum.
Based on what I established and based on the tiering that I'm looking at, I just don't agree with that.
No, but we literally agreed with all of that stuff, so what's the problem?
Because that wasn't proven to have any like a star level effect.
Wait, the air attack. You do understand the difference between DP and AP. It doesn't like have to show like this massive star level.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't have to destroy the whole
scale
star. I know that that there's a difference between DC and AP, but even still, it's not like the feats or the people that you're attacking in order to scale off that didn't prove that.
Prove what?
You said that based on the feat that you of an air attack that Kaguya can use, that scales her to star level or
because it's superior to the casual creation. I think that's what I said.
Yeah, but
do you not understand that?
I don't understand where that premise came from because we never demonstrated any feats.
No, but I was like supporting evidence. I brought up like other stuff, but that also supports it. If we're on the topic, right, we might as well talk about it.
That would be
so it's stated to be it's stated to be one of her most powerful attacks, and that she has to take time to like load it up, right, and stuff. So now her actual fists, right, can actually tank it, right, meaning her durability scales to it. Also, we know that it's superior to the creation feat, but she does like casually as she actually pleases or with ease.
Yeah, but it would only scale off whoever she's using it on.
Wait, what do you mean by that?
Because like just because it's the most powerful attack doesn't necessarily mean that it scales.
Well, it doesn't need to because we know it's not a casual attack. That it actually takes like time and stuff. The whole creation pose thing is like an ability, and it's established to be a really casual thing. Now, if you have like an attack, right, that takes more time and it's stated to be like more powerful, creation thing isn't even stated to be a powerful thing. It's like a really casual thing she like spits out, right? Then we know it would scale above that anyways, and we know it's really good. So it's at least really good supporting evidence for the other stuff I brought up about her, like retaining the energy and being able to like project it.
I'll consider it if you can provide a panel to support that.
Okay, let me see if I can.
Because at the moment it doesn't.
Yeah, that's cool.
Make any sense, and I think it's kind of headcanon.
I'll send the scan.
Thing is a little bit different to what you were saying though. It has potential to be the strongest attack. So
Now look,
arguably, the most powerful attack she has is the.
Okay, look, I don't even need to claim it's the most powerful, as long as it's like one of the most powerful, right? And even if it could become the most powerful, her fists will still need to like fucking tank it, and she'll still have to like endure all of the like energy from that. And it's not a casual thing. It's literally staged. She has to load like chakra up. So that's all I'm claiming. I'm not saying it's her most powerful attack, right? I'm saying that is one of her most powerful attacks via this. And she can actually tank it.
To scale this off, like where she uses it on somebody?
Yeah, she uses it on like Sasuke, who Sasuke actually somewhat tanks it, right? So she hits like Sasuke Susanoo, and his Susanoo breaks apart, but it actually doesn't penetrate like his Susanoo completely and hit him, meaning that it somewhat like injured it.
Because this is before the orb, right? I'm pretty sure.
So it has the potential to be possibly greater, but.
Because we know that Kaguya, for a fact, at this point, like I said before, is stronger than Hagoromo, and Hagoromo, like I established before, was Moon Plus.
No, but then I proved that like that was a really casual thing, and he did it weakened, and also it's Obito's interpretation, and it didn't actually kill him.
What I'm saying is, if Kaguya was to attack Sasuke at this point, she'd be Moon Level Plus or something like that. Based on the feats.
No, but like literally, her creating her dimensions is a really casual thing, and it's established at the beginning. It's like her AP would scale to it regardless throughout. She has the third eye, right?
If you can prove
she has the third eye from the get-go.
The size of the dimension, if it's not clarified, we can only assume.
Okay, but we did kind of clarify it. We're saying it's at least large star level, right? Yeah, at least the one they would like, the ones that she creates. So her creation.
I could agree with that. Yeah.
Okay, so you understand why this kind of scales to that? Because that's a really casual thing, and this is.
Kaguya is around star level. Yeah. That was my original premise.